And just looking down the list of how assets have performed this year, Bitcoin's up 80%, ETH up 75%, Solana up 156%, which was one of my key smaller bets. As liquidity comes back into markets, we will see the next rise of the crypto story. And the crypto story will go from 300 million users to 1 billion users or more in this cycle. Lean into crypto, lean into technology. If you can do that, you're ahead of most people. My God, you guys are a cynical bunch of miserable people. Global liquidity came sharply lower. That brought all financial markets down. The Nasdaq, being highly correlated and a leverage play, came down more, and crypto, which is even more a leverage play on liquidity, plus the adoption curve, as is Nasdaq, because technology adoption is massive right now. They came down a lot, but as that turned, so did markets turn. And this is where people are scratching their heads. I don't believe it. The market should be going lower. Can't you see there's a recession coming? Oh my God, can't you see that earnings are coming lower? Yes. The market knows it all in advance. We're probably in a recession now, and then we'll have the kind of final stages of the bottom of the cycle, and then it claws its way back up again and doesn't become positive, let's say, till the end of the year, where GDP growth is positive again. But we'll have unemployment staying very sticky and prices coming lower. But liquidity is picking up, markets picking up. And if liquidity picks up further, whether the banking situation changes, the regional banks are still on their knees. So I still think that news flow gets worse and the Federal Reserve end up doing something. If not, the economy is going to get worse. The longer they keep rates up, the more probability is they have to cut rates rapidly later. The market picks this up. So there is no argument liquidity is the key driver. You can argue against it. You may hate it, but it is what it is. So once you understand liquidity is everything, you stop worrying about all of the things that you think should work as a model. Liquidity drives everything, not your model, not valuations, not anything else. It's all irrelevant. My view is the central bank balance sheet goes out to about 12 trillion in the US. That takes all assets with it over time. Nasdaq, crypto do better. The Nasdaq does well, crypto does ludicrously well, and that's how it always is with liquidity and these network adoption models. The S&P does fine. It does pretty much, I think the S&P does 2x what the balance sheet does in percent. So the balance sheet fell about 15%, and the stock market fell 30%. You know, it's that kind of relationship with the S&P. The Nasdaq's got a multiplier effect, and crypto's got a multiplier effect on it, which is why I'm so bullish on those two. Crypto's always on my mind. It's been doing phenomenally well based on liquidity. Bottomed exactly as we saw global M2 turning. That was my signal into that hellhole of June when Luna collapsed, and then the second hellhole of the FTX collapse, which ETH didn't take out the low. It bottomed in June, but Bitcoin and others bottomed in the October period, which I tweeted out about and talked about on Real Vision, which I thought was the low of the market. October is the bear market killer, and it seemed to have done its job this time around too. So I'm very positive overall. And just looking down the list of how assets have performed this year, Bitcoin's up 80%, ETH up 75%, Solana up 156%, which was one of my key smaller bets. And then other markets that have done particularly well, carbon, which is another one of my bets, is up about 12%. And if I look at equity markets, S&P's up 8%, Nasdaq is up 20%, making to my point, my exponential age basket of more kind of growth end technology is up about 33%. So you can see the markets are already bifurcating. This is exactly what happened in 2019 after the Fed pivot in 2018. The Fed are going to pause very soon, or have paused. I think they probably pause, or should certainly pause. And we'll see this continued acceleration until liquidity slows down at some point. And then we'll have pauses in the market. We may even have pullbacks if liquidity comes back somewhat, which I don't really see. And then we'll see acceleration as we start hitting the recession and the unemployment side of the equation, which comes later when the real money printing and rate cutting really starts. Crypto regulations, we've seen Gary Gensler today, total shit show, being questioned about is Ether security, all of this stuff, refuses to say anything. You know, I think the questions asked were pretty right, is why can you not give guidance to people? Do you want to drive away innovation from the United States? The UK is almost uniquely positioned to take a lot of the crypto businesses. We saw Brian Armstrong from Coinbase over in the UK talking to the government, and that is not the only organization that's been over there. And you see, we've seen this before. England has one great trick. It has a incredible financial system, democracy, and they speak the English language, and they have great trade linkages with the entire world. So when the US stumbles, particularly in financial markets, the UK picks up the slack and does something called regulatory arbitrage. There's a $1 trillion industry called crypto. It has been $3 trillion at peak. This is not a small industry, and most people project it to grow to, let's say, 10 trillion would be gold. Now, gold is based in London as well, regulatory arbitrage. And then if you look at other major asset markets, they're 100 trillion plus, and stuff like the derivative markets are like $250 billion. So the UK is looking at this thinking, okay, we need a relevancy in this world. We lost most of it because of our divorce from Europe. And the last 2 or 3 governments have said, we want to embrace crypto. And they're setting up their stall for very sensible regulations. One of the key ones is stablecoins. They say we want to be the center of stablecoins. Why? Stablecoins are just tokenized Eurodollars. Once you understand that, you understand how big stablecoins are. It's the Eurodollar system, but for individuals, because you can tokenize it. So it gives anybody access to dollars, whether you're in the Philippines, whether you're in India, or whether you're in the US. So it's a really, really interesting opportunity for them. So I think the crypto industry is easy to move to the UK. So if the US screws this up, Coinbase will, sure, be a US listed company, but its main operations will be in the UK. Same for many of these businesses. And I think that's very, very interesting. Now, the US can save themselves if they just get out of their own way. And that requires removing Gary Gensler, which I know a lot of people want to do, including a lot of people in the government in the United States. Let's see what happens. But this is the problem when you run the world's most powerful, richest country with a bunch of baby boomers who just want to protect what they've got. Don't give me change, please, because I just want to live out my retirement. Well, the hard job is to be somebody who makes decisions about the future, not about the past. And right now, the US is making a lot of decisions about the past, when in fact, these people were global innovators, and the US was the innovation economy of the world, and they need to be very careful in how they deal with this. As liquidity comes back into markets, we will see the next rise of the crypto story. And the crypto story will go from 300 million users to 1 billion users or more in this cycle. And there'll be applications that you won't have dreamed of, or things that you thought weren't coming that will come at scale, whether it's digital identity, whether it's massive cases of Web3, whether it's DeFi, or whether it's something entirely new, whether it's ticketing via NFTs, who the hell knows? But this next cycle, with the amount of capital that's been invested in this space, that is going to see yet another acceleration. Do you think the recent noise from the SEC will affect the usual 4-year cycle and the halving? So we're talking about crypto here. No, I think the 4-year cycle and halving is driven by liquidity. The liquidity cycle is driven by the business cycle, and the business cycle has gone negative, and therefore the liquidity cycle is playing out. I don't think anything with the SEC makes a difference. The US is not the world. I know, sorry to break it to you guys. You may be the world's biggest economy, but as I explained in financial markets, these things are liquid. They shift. They can go anywhere where capital is treated well, and they will. It's a total red herring to even care about what the SEC does. It's a shame for the United States. For the rest of the crypto markets, just all noise. Remember when they banned China? Or China banned it? Yeah, they've done it 3 times. Nothing happened. The market went up. India, same. It's too big. It's too big, too decentralized. What are your top trades for the next 1 year and 3 year time horizon? I would take exponential age basket, NASDAQ, if you want to keep it simpler. Crypto is my favorite bet of all. And I'm long carbon as well, because I like that. And I'm long bonds. So the bonds would not be a 3 year time horizon. Everything else would be easily 1 year and 3 years. But yeah, I don't like the fact that it's in the hands of a few, and that's what the decentralized movement's about. It's what crypto's about. It's what stability AI is about. I think we can't allow excess power within the few. So I'm going to leave that question at that. How much do you see private centralized blockchains like MasterCard, Provenance impacting growth regulations of public decentralized solutions? I think we all work together. There's going to be private solutions. There's going to be massive decentralized solutions. There's going to be CBDCs. It's all part of the mix. So I have no issue with it. The more people that adopt the technology in whatever format, the better the world will be. The US dollar is 87% of all world trade, and something like 70% of all world debt is in US dollars. It is not going away. Can it go away over time? For sure. And that could be competition from private currencies, or let's call them public currencies, non-state. It could be from China. It could be from regional packs. It could be from all sorts of people. So we end up in a more fragmented world. The world needs to move away from the dollar being such a large part of it. I think it's detrimental for almost every other economy, and maybe even for the US itself. I don't think BRICS stand a chance yet of doing that. But can the world de-dollarize partially? Yes. Does it mean the dollar goes down? Probably not. How do I invest in carbon credits? So Crane shares, I think, are a sponsor here. KRBN is one of them, and I think there's KREU is the other one. So KRBN also includes the California carbon credits. KREU is just the European one. You can also use the futures, so places like Interactive Brokers, you can trade the futures, the pure futures contract, which is the benchmark of which what everybody uses. Or you can use stuff like Lawson Still Kabuki, which is a ERC20 token. And that exactly mirrors the carbon as well, and actually removes carbon from the system, or allowances from the system. So it's a very good mechanism. What do you think about the future of Solana? Well, I'm a bull. I think it goes up. I think we can tokenize these AI networks to allow use of compute to be tokenized, or people put data in to be tokenized, and therefore everybody participates in the network. So I think because you don't see it today doesn't mean it's not happening. When will the US next print more dollars? Well, roughly by month. I'm sorry, Jay. Let me get my crystal ball out for you. They recently did it. And people say, well, that wasn't quantitative easing. Well, it went on the balance sheet and the stock market went up. So it seems like it was debasement to me. When will they next do it? It depends. If the KRE index, the regional banking shares index falls, then they will do it faster. If it doesn't fall much further, then it will come when unemployment starts rising, which my guess is by about September, we'll be back into money printing mode, and rate cutting mode will probably come sooner. What should my 15-year-old do to best take advantage of the coming trends? I have no idea. I know it's terrifying as a parent. All my friends are asking the same thing. I think just lean in, lean into it, lean into crypto, lean into technology, lean into the use of technology to enhance yourself to be a more productive person. If you can do that, you're ahead of most people. So I think that is the thing. And then he'll have to figure it out like we all had to figure it out. I mean, somebody, you will have been told many wrong things in the past. You should be doing this. And then that job changed. So I don't really know, but just lean in. What did DMARC signal say about crypto and US indices? DMARC's my favorite technical indicator. I feel completely blind without it. Tom DeMark is a personal friend, and also I think has created one of the greatest things in technical analysis. It's voodoo to me. If you care about DMARC and want to learn more, we've got an entire DMARC course by Tom DeMark himself. We're the only people in the world who have this. It's on Real Vision Plus as part of the Real Investing course and the Real Vision Academy. So if you haven't done that, it's worth the bloody cost of the Real Vision Plus, which is about $550 a year. And that gives you all of your essential content plus all the Academy just for that course. Trust me, it changes your life. So I think we've got a very strong year to come. So that's what it's doing for US equities. I'm going to use the NASDAQ because I don't care about the S&P. It feels like a boomer index nowadays. And the NASDAQ's the one that outperforms, as I've proven. It's already up double what the S&P's up. Raoul, what must happen to prove your whole thesis wrong? Technology needs to stop. How else does technology not continue? That thesis, so exponential age, almost impossible to stop. Even with inflation, people are like, well, inflation. Yeah, well, companies that grow at 100% a year, or fucking OpenAI that grew at ChatGPT that went from 0 to 100 million users in 5 weeks. I don't think he cares about inflation. Crypto, it's at a $1 trillion market cap. What do I have to prove anymore? So I don't know about that one. Disinflation, okay, we can argue about that one. My God, you guys are a cynical bunch of miserable people. Another one, fad one. What is wrong with you guys? Fad one, what's your stance to the conflict, soon war, between China and Taiwan for the macro field and the stock market? Well, war's never a good thing, but although you tend to buy war, you sell the lead into war and buy the war, but I don't know how to answer that. Yes, it would be bad. But if you think there's always war around the corner or some shocking geopolitical event or the end of the world coming, you'll never make any money at all. So, Raoul, please speak to what Elizabeth Warren is saying to destroy crypto. And is it like an order to later promote a US CBDC? Yes, CBDCs are coming everywhere to you. Get used to it. That is your form of sovereign currency. You live in whatever country you live in, and you will accept their currency. We also have an alternative system which we can use, which is the cryptocurrency market, and we can all use those too, and we will do. And Elizabeth Warren is an irrelevant baby boomer who is trying to stop her world changing. How do you plan on using Bitcoin in the future in your portfolio? Will you ever sell it for dollars or hold it and use it to borrow against? I actually don't own much Bitcoin. I haven't for a very long time now. But let's assume it's for crypto. Will I ever sell it out? Yes, because the whole game is about lifestyle. That's what we're in this for. We're not in it for some justice warrior world. At some point, you want to have a nice house, or you want to build an extension, or you want to do something else. So everything is about lifestyle. That is what we work for. That is what we invest for. Everything is about the quality of life that you have. It's not about material possessions. It could be just because you want to have a hut in the woods so you can be out with nature. It could be you want to go traveling. Lifestyle is everything. That's what we invest for. Nothing else matters. It's unsettling because everything you took to understand as stable isn't stable. Everything you thought was new is now not new anymore. It's actually really hard. So I may kind of joke about the kind of scarcity mindset, the mindset of no, don't change, the fear of change. But look, it's a complete understandable thing. And people don't like it, and they find arguments against stuff because they don't want change. And that's okay. But change still comes, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well just embrace it. Some people are just mean to people because they think it's me versus them. Karma is I'm going to give with no expectation of return, but the universe kind of returns it back because people think you're a nice person. They want to also be nice to you. It's incredible. It creates enormous abundance. Helping people in any way, shape, or form does this. And once you accept it within investing as well, then it's not my idea versus your idea. It's like, oh, your idea is interesting and my idea is interesting, or we can do this together. And once you understand it is not a competition for scarce resources, particularly in technology, cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, where we're building new things, then it opens your mind that we can all make money and it doesn't have to be a mean reverting world. It's literally a game changer once you understand the abundance mindset, that together we can do more than we can as individuals.